when you're having a conversation, and like you said, frustration kicks in. Maybe you've spoken to your child once, twice, 3 times, and then you say, "Why have you done that?" Don't you know that what's wrong with you to do that? And then you say, "What's the matter with you?" And straight away you're attacking them, but not the behaviour. So that's what I'm saying. It's. I guess it's a process you need to learn.
That's the natural lingo, is to go that way.
Yeah.
Because that's what.
Why do you always do that? Like
Yes.
the language, like you said.
And so what you're now wanting to do is, maybe you need to look at why is it that that child is having difficulty committing to that thing or doing that thing that you keep on asking. Maybe they don't understand the reason or the danger of doing a thing a certain way, calling a child stupid and idiot and sort of debasing them. I remember experiencing all of the above, but you need to keep them up these days. Positive, because they can go to school and get that. Yeah. But you've got to come home and reaffirm who they are. Because I think that some of the issues that we have these days is because our children lack identity. They don't know who they are very often. And if you can at least, because I remember growing up and my father was a very proud Nigerian, and he would say, "You are a Nigerian child, you're not English, you're not West Indian, you are a Nigerian child." And we have, not like nowadays, we're all kind of running away from the identity now to a certain extent, but,
it's changing. You'll be surprised it's changing.
I have always been a Nigerian child and always proud of that identity. But that identity, when we took it to school in the days when I went to school, it came up against the West Indians who said we stole them, and it became an issue then. So those were our wars then. Yeah, different. But we did it with our mouths. We didn't do it with knives, which is another situation. So you really need to keep the psychology and the psyche of your children up, and never compare them to another child, not even one in your own house. So you don't compare child A with child B by saying, "Yeah, why can't you be like your sister? Why can't you be like your brother?" They're individuals. Treat them like that. Respect them. And like you were saying earlier on, set boundaries for everybody. And equality right through. So what you expect from your male children, you expect it from your female children.
That's a difficult one in our
culture. Which culture you?
Well, because I'm looking at sorry, when I say we, I'm Nigerian.
No. I'm saying it because your culture has got to change a little bit. In the sense of, yes, I know men have this dominant position in the Nigerian culture, but things have changed. And we need to adapt to that change to enable everybody to give of their best. So if you're saying, your son shouldn't cook, shouldn't learn to cook and feed himself, he shouldn't wash his clothes. When he goes to university, who's going to do it? Are you going to send your wife up to go and wash his clothes and cook for him?
He's not going to like it.
Exactly. You're telling him to go get his own wife. Do you know? But then you give him a sense of independence.
Yeah, true.
As
and
well.
Not to rely on anybody else.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because what you're doing there is you're saying to your child, think for yourself. Because what you're also trying to do is say, if a situation arises, they can think their way out of it. If I come along and I'm trying to tell them, you are no good, you are this, you are that, and I'm an external person, family or another child, they'll say, no, this is what I am. This is who I am. Yeah. I know who I am. You're the one that's got the problem. So they can stand up for themselves because they're strong enough to, because they have that self-belief. But if you have destroyed the child at home, anybody else he's fodder to them. And you've got to build your child, and that building takes place in your home before they get outside. Because it's warfare out there.
It is.
It was warfare when we were growing up, and now it's become a totally different thing. Yeah. And then the arms that are used, or the weapons are totally different now. And you've got to get them in a situation that they can anticipate a situation. So they can join the dots. So when they see a situation arising, before it, you know, they may see A, B, C in that situation, and they can work out, you know, D, E, F, and then know it's time to move out of there,
yeah.
check out of there. Don't get involved in that. Don't, you know.
Yeah.
And that's, you're creating, you know, their ability to defend themselves outside, to protect themselves outside, secure themselves. You don't want to be coming home to a story. You know, so you're encouraging them to think for themselves, you know, and also develop a strong bond with your child. This is still under this thing of their mental well-being, because they know that you've got their back. They know that they can come back to you, because they can come and talk about anything. That is so, so important. The ability to tell you anything. And you don't have to respond with aggression.
Yeah, no, of course.
You know, it's like, take it in and think how you're going to deal with that situation. And that's going to come up later in what I'm about to say. But it's important that they can report anything or ask about anything. Because I can promise you, if you're not giving them the information, somebody else will.
I learned a lot of things from my friends, not my parents.
And they're not necessarily correct.
Yes.
Or useful. Or the best for you. You know, I've heard of situations where girls have set other girls up. I said, oh, we're all doing it. Not true.
Yeah.
And then they got this girl to do it. And she landed in a lot of problems, and they were gone.
Yeah.
So you have to really, you know, give your child the best foundation possible. If you can't, you know, we don't all know everything.
Yeah.
But we can find the info. I mean, I say, Mr. and Mrs. Google, just get on there.
Yeah.
You can find anything. And you will always find a friend who knows something more than you do and can assist. You know, you're there to monitor, but just do it. And the other thing is celebrate your children. Encourage them. You know, when they have school events, be there.
It's a big one. It's hard to. It's hard to.
You see, this is where, going back to our earlier discussion where I was saying that parents are having to contend with financial woes. So, you know, has 3 jobs, 4 jobs. You know, when they started, they weren't living in this climate where, you know, there was flexi.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing is the type of jobs that they're doing are menial a lot of times, at least initially. That's why I said a lot of people are underemployed. You know, because being underemployed means that you're not doing what you're really qualified to do. And when you're doing that, you're exerting a lot more energy. So you're more tired, more frustrated, and then you bring it home.
And then I think I'm just going to touch on, you're less confident, and therefore you can't give confidence to your child. If you're not confident, how can you give confidence?
Can't give what you haven't got.
Yeah. And touching on the well-being of your child, yeah, it's hard for you to do that.
So I mean, like I said, it's important to be there for what they achieve. You know, praising little Olu or praising little Jumoke for having achieved, even if it was like, you know, she came last, well done, you ran. You know what I mean? You ran and you kept going to the end.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be that easy, because, you know,
I know.
Growing up, well, I grew up in a culture of, I took second, what happened to the first? You know, so the person that took first, do they have 2 heads? You know, things like that.
You encourage them to do better next time. You know, it's like, yes, you came last this time, but you know, you can do better. Shall we practice? You know, become involved.
I think we're all going to need to practice that, I know that. But, you know, it makes sense. Everything you're saying makes sense. Well, my brain is just saying and going around and saying to me that, you know, where have you gone wrong? In terms of what you just said now.
Parents have to forgive themselves.
Yeah.
Because I said, nobody gets trained.
No.
You know, you're a mature parent.
Yes.
You've seen it, done it, and still doing it.
Yes, I'm still
doing it. And
you're
you're the lower end of just starting out on this
starting.
race.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
but you've got to find it.
Yeah.
because he's watching you, and your behaviour informs him on what's going to happen next, kind of thing, or what he should be doing. I mean, you know, sort of lastly, we're looking at the child's physical security.
Okay.
And this is where we now talk about things that are in the press a lot, in that pens that I was talking about earlier on. That's sexual crimes that are being perpetrated on our children, or things that are being done to them outside, or the grooming that is taking place. And it's a very serious issue that parents need to get hold of and monitor. But you see, if you're communicating with your child, if you have enabled them by giving them the right information, they will feel secure and protected. They will know what a good touch is or what a bad touch is, and when they need to report or how to report, and when to run, and when to scream and shout. It's like I was talking to somebody once, and they said there's a young boy of about 11, and he was going to school, or he was on his way, and 2 or 3 boys surrounded him, and they made him give his phone or his money or something from him, and they pushed him and so on. And I said, okay, where did this happen? So we went back to where it happened, and I said, okay, it happened here. I said, over there is a shop, over there is another establishment. What time of day it was? I said, it was daytime, wasn't it? Over there, you were in a triad here of people. Where did your voice go? Make a sound. That's why when we protect our houses, what do? We put an alarm system. Shout, attract attention. They will start moving, or they will get jittery. Somebody will turn around. You might even have somebody come and help. These days it's so hard to get that, because people want to.
Everyone minds their own business now.
You know, look around for a CCTV. Position yourself. You know,
Lord knows there's enough of them in London. Anyway.
Run into the shop, but you know, you've got to start, in a sense. I'm sorry to say this, bringing your children up differently. It's like defensively almost.
Yeah, I agree, because it's like one of the things that I taught my kids when they were growing up, that if you get lost, stay put. You know, for instance, if we go to the shop or anything, and I said, if for any reason you went to the wrong guy and I'm in the wrong place, just go find somebody, or just stay put, just stay there, and I will come and get you. And that seems to work, because, okay, not that I've ever lost any. But I've been to a shop in the process of all these that I came out of the shop and one of them did not follow me. So when I went to the other shop and I went back and I thought, oh my God. So I went back and there. And everybody was just asking.
You have systems in place. You know, it's like the safeguarding thing. If this happens, this is what you do. You've got them, you've given them information for their life. Information that protects you, protects them. And when they call, please answer.
See, I'm glad you're saying this, because this is one of the questions that some of the parents. I mean, when Michael were, I didn't even know about what age they could be left. I didn't even know they could be left alone at all. And so I used to have to carry them everywhere. You know, so maybe if there's some kind of information there, and people will then know.
These are the things that concern a lot of parents. There is that area of, you know, looking at the child's physical security. And that takes so many, you know, sort of dimensions. You know, because it's the physical security in terms of being at home safe. So you're keeping knives out of the way. You know, the kind of things that you would, and then even where they sleep, that it's safe. Then the other thing is, who comes into your home?
It's a big one.
I'm keeping a purposeful silence on that, because you see, the thing is that has raised so many issues indirectly, because a lot of times a child that is molested is often molested by someone close to them rather than by a stranger.
Mm.
It's so funny, growing up in this country, my parents said, don't go to strangers, don't. But the tendency is you don't go to strangers. I don't know you. So a child tends to be hesitant if they meet somebody for the first time. They tend to go and hide behind your legs, don't they?
Yes, yes.
You know,
That's really
or
That's
they're
true.
kind of withdrawn,
Yeah.
assessing this person. But somebody that they know, they go running towards them.
Mm.
And very often that's the person that will, and I mean when I say this, it's not everybody,
Mm.
but you need to keep a wary eye.
Can I touch on that? I mean,
Please do.
I'm because of what you're alluding to and speaking about. I'm frightened to death of my children going to sleep anywhere. I'm not bothered whether
you know
it's
what?
cousin, brother.
I haven't
auntie,
understood
uncle.
this thing of, what do they call it, pajama parties?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, my
yeah,
kids
it's-
never been to that.
What's
Never.
that about?
Yeah.
What happened to their bed in my house?
Exactly.
What's wrong with it?
No.
I
That-
don't, no.
Yeah.
Growing up and bringing them up, that's one thing. They've never gone anywhere to sleep. Even my 18-year-old was saying, I'm 18 now. Can I not stay out till at least 11 o'clock? And I'm thinking, how are you going to get home? And things like that. I'm totally in agreement with that.
So I'm kind of old-fashioned girl. So
yeah.
I don't understand this sleepover and little girls going to sleep in
Yeah.
Pyjamas
parties.
party.
And you don't know
You don't know the
parents of this so-called best friend at this
No.
time.
Look, you know what? Fathers molest their children.
Mm.
So if a father of a child can molest their child, I'm not trusting anybody
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I agree.
Yes, I do.
There's no limits now. Everything's just gone a little bit left side of centre, as far as I'm concerned. And so it's important to protect your child and keep your eyes open. And the other thing is that when a child makes a disclosure to you, like, this person did this to me, or this is happening, or something, do something about it. Take action. Back them up. To look into it, to make sure that the thing is resolved.
Can you touch on what someone should do? Because I believe that this has happened a lot of times, but parents, or let's say people from our community, don't actually know. Okay, the first thing is you phone the police, but what?
Well, the thing is that a lot of our parents don't want to,
Because of
that
the
way.
shame.
because of the shame
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And so there's a lot of taboo around it.
Mm.
But I would report it. You know, find out who
Who? Yeah.
from your child, find out what happened, find out when, and then report it to the police. And they will normally guide you through what needs to be done. But make a report and let it get investigated.
Mm.
Now, you know straight away that there's going to be a lot of unhappiness,
Yeah.
and, you know,
It's
and
gonna be
especially
uncomfortable.
very, very
Yeah,
uncomfortable. But hold on, so is your child.
yeah. Exactly.
And you know what? If they say they don't want to go to a certain person's house, take note.
Mm.
Because they may not be able to voice, because the whole thing is based on secrecy.
Mm.
Don't tell this person, don't tell, I will kill, I will, you know, there's threats
Yeah. Yeah.
and secrecy involved. But you see, if we take it right back to that initial thing where I said communication,
That's
and
important.
the ability to be able to talk about anything, then you're covered. Because you've built up that bond, you've built up that relationship, you've built up that access.
Being
to-
available at any time. Yeah.
You shouldn't be like, you know, I mean, we're adults, but very often, even sometimes we have a boss that we wouldn't even go and see that one.
Mm.
Isn't that true?
Yes.
It is true.
And we're adults. So can you imagine a child not feeling that they can talk to you? It's the same thing. And you see, we don't understand that
Yeah.
and sort of do something about it. That is why you've got to break, you know, a child will not disrespect you more because he can talk to you about anything. He will tend to love you more because he can act. I can talk to my daddy about anything. I can go to my mom. She'll always listen to me. And these are the things that when they then grow up, they will say, oh, my mom was amazing. You know, she might not be happy what I'm saying, but I could always go and tell her. Because you want you to be their backstop first. They're front line.
But how do you make sure you don't cross that boundary? Because I'm sure some of the viewers are going to be saying, but then it's like you're their friend. How do you stop that
No,
friend?
you're not their friend. You must never be their friend.
Yes, but I know
No,
you're
you
not.
should.
I know you're not saying that. But
No.
to some parents, they feel to be that close. It's almost like they're on par.
You know what? You're building it as you go along,
Okay.
so that you have given them discipline.
Hmm.
If they've understood the discipline, and you've set your boundaries.
Okay.
So you've got your boundaries in place, but you've got the facility for them to talk to you. You know, you have a situation in your home where you can create things. You say, we're having a round table discussion today. You know, what's the matter today? You know, what time Johnny wants to go to bed. He comes and he puts his case. You make it fun.
Yeah,
You know, tell me why I should let you go to bed at 8:05 instead of 8 o'clock. Kind of thing.
It
You
goes
know?
back to that developing and sparking that whole thinking
Thank
for
you.
themselves, which is
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you know? It's giving them that competitive edge within the family structure. It's giving them responsibility. It's giving them that facility where they feel that they are part of the decision making.
process.
And they understand how it's come about.
Yeah.
Having a voice.
Yes.
Yes.
And you see, by teaching them things like that within the home, they're taking the outside to apply as well. To be able to argue their corner, to be able to stand up for themselves, to understand what it is to have responsibility. These are the things that you have to do, and if you don't do it, this is the punishment for it. So, you know, whereas I would have given you 4 hours on your, I don't know what they call it.
PlayStation, Xbox.
You know, they get to play that.
Yeah.
But tonight, hey, I told you, if you didn't get to bed by this time, if you didn't finish your homework, you weren't having it for 2 days. And you stick to those 2 days. Because your word is your bond, and that's your discipline as a parent. Take back your parenthood. You know, some people have given it to the children. Because the children have become responsible for the parent.
Yes.
And sometimes this comes out of domestic violence situation where the son or the now has to protect the mother or the care of the mother's, you know, weaknesses and pain that she's going through, so he feels protective. And then, you know, we have women that will say, this is the man of the house, this is my little husband. No. Causes
I agree with that, yeah.
issues, but that's another discussion. You know, so when you're punishing, you're taking away privileges, things that you know that they like.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, every day is a new battle, a new thing. You know, don't see it as battles, so that's a heavy word for me to use. But it's a new challenge, which you face on and you work through.
I think an important thing we need to, for the viewers, is, I think you touched on it, is learning to forgive yourself. Because parents may be watching this now and saying, oh, you know what, I've really gone wrong here, and I think that whole thing of forgiving yourself and having a new day starting again is very important, because we can't get it all right.
Oh, can I say something that viewers might think, oh my gosh, now she's gone a step too far. And that is, if you are wrong, say sorry to your child.